Gone. Yo, 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 air horns and BS and rotations and routines. The past is returning with yet another episode. This is going to be episode 134. It's not the weekly show. I've decided to kind of do a dedication and special show since I am in the transition of the move, and since I'm oddly enough moving with my twin. She's here with us now. Want to speak and say hello as you are blog prepping?
No, I'm not blog prepping.
You air horning or you getting the article? That's what you're doing?
No, I was just I hit the Urban Dictionary for their definition.
Of friend zone?
Uh-huh.
Oh, this should be... Okay. So that just teased a little bit. But as you all know, so we are doing a bit of a new... This is going to be a new series. It's kind of an old series a little bit, but this will be a new series. So you'll see a new group show up on Spreaker.com where we do upload these weekly episodes, and it's going to be called Twin Talk. So, yeah, we're just going to make this one a fun show. It's almost like I guess Twin Talk will be the representation of the fact that now, since we basically have these type of conversations off mic or off air,
it's like just be having them
on air,
so y'all can be a part of the foolishness
and
understand that this is really how we converse with each other at any given time, in public, in private,
at Starbucks,
doesn't matter,
with Ugg boots
and the tightest jeans Richmond has ever seen.
I can't say what I was about to say because I was about to get kicked off. Already. But yeah, this is gonna be Twin Talk, and so this is gonna be kind of, I'm gonna throw the title out there, or it's briefly been said already.
Like he always does, where I'm just gonna throw this out there and let you take over.
No, actually, I'm not gonna let you take over because I am gonna be sure to like jump in and have my little 2 cents and moments. Because usually I'm kind of just, most times I'm kind of prepared and ready, but usually you got it like, all right, I'm podcast rolling. I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna be the new co-host of my own show.
Of your own podcast.
That's right. Hey, it be that way sometimes. But yeah, we're gonna so we're talking about what's defined as the no friend zone. So I'm actually gonna oddly lead this one off as just giving the preface of this, and then I'll kind of pass it over since it is the past. So this, of course, is the stuff. Won't be any sports talked about, even though we're watching John Wall attempt to give Lonzo Ball some buckets and all that type of stuff. But anywho, do we want to? Well, wait, before we be petty and not talk sports, you want to have an emotional moment about Carolina, or are we just gonna move forward? Okay.
Act like that didn't happen.
All right. Okay. Just making sure. No. I always talk about the hand and the wall, but I'll say that for the weekend.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, the title is actually called the No Friend Zone, or it's called No Friend Zone.
Because the friend zone doesn't exist.
But people still
believe it does.
But people still in this quote unquote perfect world believe that there's a such thing as I was placed in, or I feel as though she put me. And this is primarily going to be and I think that's why I'm kind of doing a slight takeover on this. A lot of times guys will portray a character presentation of, I got put in the friend zone. Mm-hmm. The truth is...
That's my bad.
The truth is... So, subtopic, we might get put off. We might get put off a Spreaker. And by the way, the reason why we sound so crisp and clear is thanks to the Blue Yeti microphone. Do that and get that out of the way.
Its thing.
Yeah, because the new setup apparatus, a picture was taken. It'll be on the past podcast page. I'll share that. I've kind of shown a little bit of what was changing, but a lot of stuff is just, yeah. But anyway, so the no friend zone. Before this conversation came about, I personally never felt like it was such a thing, but for whatever reason, people who would discuss or make the conversation would say, yeah, she put me in the friend zone, or yeah, I wasn't really as inclined to be more than a friend to her. So she just basically felt that I was better as a friend. And then I'm going to kind of be petty because I would love. This is where I wish I had the copyright cheat codes of just putting you got what I need.
No, you will not. You will not go there.
But
there will be no singing on this podcast.
Why can't I sing?
And there you go.
I sing.
No, you
Because
No, you don't. No, you don't. Anyway, before he continues to turn this into American Idol, I'm going to give you...
At least not the X Factor.
You know what? I'm going to give you the definition of friend zone per Urban Dictionary, which I feel is fitting. A term many guys, and in parentheses, and some girls use when they have been rejected, whether it is straight out or inadvertently said.
Right.
People tend to claim it is the other person's fault and or that they're a friend zoning bitch, despite the fact that the person may really only like them as a friend, which, to the person calling this the friend zone, is a false move, seeing as that person believes they should fake feelings and be in a relationship.
I had to take a moment of silence because that just like my whole. I felt like a knife, but a knife just got out.
There's a reference for that.
There's another. So every time, if y'all have not learned by now with these podcasts, we throw so many random references, try to give all these stories.
That would be a podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast.
Anyway.
Oh my. I'm getting put off today.
This is going to be the first and last Twin Talk. Because
no, it's not.
Back up here.
No. All right. So yeah. So people placing themselves or feeling as though that's generated or created is a bunch of horseshit.
I mean, the friend zone doesn't exist. The fact is people who believe in the friend zone went into a friendship with an ulterior motive to begin with. You went into that friendship expecting something other than friendship, and when you didn't receive it, then you got put in the friend zone. So basically, it's like, but I was nice, and I listened, and I was there for her.
Right.
Okay, that's great. You were a great friend.
Yeah.
Congrats on being a great friend.
So I guess this is where my like the analytical side of me comes into play, because then I'm looking at it as, it's almost as though the guy, I guess, it's the ulterior motive, or as I always love to call it, the hidden agenda gets exposed. Because it's, hey, I met you, I liked you from the beginning, but I liked you just enough to not want to fuck up and not ruin the friendship. Oh, and by the way, the explicit content.
Well, wait.
Okay. Hashtagging, that's fine. But I just know that once you've messed up and once you quote unquote acknowledge that you feel like that's where or what you belong as in the relationship, then it ends up becoming like a downward spiral in a sense. Is that kind of an accurate? Like, all right, so this is the guy. I guess this will be my first cue. My first question I can ask as being the guy who hasn't had those experiences and being put in the friend zone, but also has heard friend zone term thrown loosely by other men.
I think the thing with the friend zone that people seem to want to say is, I mean, it doesn't exist for the simple fact that if you're in the friend zone, it's because you put yourself there. At no point does someone have to be sexually attracted to you just because you're sexually attracted to them.
Right.
And if they make it clear that they see you as a friend,
mm-hmm.
then that's where you are, player.
And you gotta, and then that's forcing you to basically either accept the role or, I don't even want to say walk away, but it's like, because most people look at it as, well, I didn't get what I was looking for, but in reality, you go into something, if you go into it with the right mindset, you usually get the right result. I guess that's, like, I feel like that's what I'm kind of.
And I mean, it really is a mindset, because one of the things is that you're going into it with the mindset that I want more out of this So I have this, I'm sliding into, well, maybe if I keep being nice, then this.
Right.
And maybe if I keep doing, this, then I'll get this in return. Like, everything you do is for a reason.
Okay.
So that person that says that they're quote unquote in the friend zone went into this with, ulterior motives.
Right.
They went into this expecting to get something in return other than friendship. And when they don't get that in return, then they've been friend zoned. Oh, nice guys finish last.
Yeah, that was
that bullshit.
And I think that when we went into the nice guys finish last, I think that's where the conversation really went like heavy, because for whatever reason, a lot of guys who claim themselves as being good guys, they play the nice guys finish last card, but it's not about finishing last or about finishing first. It's about finishing the right way, with the right peace of mind or the right state of mind. If you're interested in something, like, my thing is, if you're interested in somebody, you can show that person interest, but you also have to, I think, and I'll say this, and I'm stating this probably going on a reckless, wild on a limb, aggressive, far left field statement. A lot of guys don't want to take that chance on looking at the quote unquote non-friend zone, friend zone, I like you but I don't want to be with you state, because if they talk to this girl and let's say she, God forbid, rejects him, we back on the website in myfeelings.gov, and it's like, but you have to understand, it's just like, and this, I don't know if me and you've done this podcast. I know I've talked about this before. For whatever reason, people don't understand, a lot of situationships get generated, or a lot of connection. Like, for instance, if you're friends with somebody, if that person, it's almost like the generic basis of, hey, you meet this person, y'all cool. Hey, if I want to be friends with you, I'm friends with you. As time progresses, if our friendship grows and becomes a great friendship, great, it's a good friendship. Now, if it's on some, hey, I look at you as more than a friend, if the other person has that mutual understanding, great, but also don't get like an attitude or have a fit if it's, well, I look at you as a friend and I don't see you as nothing more. Because what happens is, I think where the friend zone perception or misinterpretation comes into play is, once that I don't look at you as more than a friend, then that's where it automatically is, well, I just got put in the friend zone. No, you didn't.
She considers you a friend.
That's just considered as a friend.
What is wrong with being a friend? Like, people, I think that plays into the fact that people in society still think that men and women cannot just be platonic friends. Yeah. So if a man and a woman have any type of relationship with each other, it has to be a sexual relationship.
Right. And because
they can't be friends.
Yeah, and I mean, we always go into that, because it's like, for whatever reason, well, 2-part story. One, like, if we hang out, like if you and I hang out, if it's like, hey, we kicking it, like I said, this is twin talk, so it's like, we family. So it's like, if me and you hanging out, we can be cool and chill, and it's like, hey, we understand where we stand, but then somebody else can look at it and assume, oh yeah, they together. Okay, that's what you believe. Good. That keeps your the thirst buckets away from you. Right. And that for me is like, I'm here to chill, so it's not like I'm really, I guess, I don't know, then my fridge is the car been on strong, so that's a whole nother story. But then it ties into story 2, which I always love telling this story. There's a friend we both know, and a friend was introduced, and it's almost like it's not really a roundaway story of saying it. It's like, yeah, one of my coworkers, called Worksis, she came, hung out with all of us at a get together, and the first thing was, yo, you with that? No, I'm not. We're good friends. We're a really great friend. That's it. It doesn't have to be anything beyond that, and it's not like it's the killer or tell all be all of the norm. And I think sometimes people see and look at it as, well, it could be great if y'all. No, you can't. It's like, basically, it's almost like taking a puzzle, and this will probably be my best way to get the analogy to discussing this. It's almost as though you're working on a puzzle. The puzzle has 100 pieces, and you're getting down to that last piece that needs to go in. And for whatever reason, you got a defective piece in your puzzle box. and you're trying to force this puzzle piece to fit, number one, even if you put that piece in place, the picture's not going to look like what it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
So you
forced it.
Right, because you basically tried to force it, and it just was not, that wasn't what it was supposed to go down as. What was an article that I happened to pull up, and I showed it to Chanel, and we went into it, and it's so ironic because the first part of what the story says is why I literally felt like it was just ammunition of making this even more stable. The first words, the title of it is called "Friend Zone." Stop being pathetic. Which, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, okay." So just throwing it out there and just start hit you in the throat. There's nothing called the friend zone. A girl either wants to sleep with you or not. The friend zone is I don't want to sleep with you zone. But men try to rationalize why a girl didn't want to sleep with them with lame excuses like being too friendly. Instead of admitting that, they don't really own their balls. Blunt statement, but valid point. And add to that, some guys, for whatever reason, and I'm probably putting guys on blast, so guys don't think that I'm like not on team men, because that's not the case. Right. But I just wanted to be noticed that it's just kind of the truth of what it is, which is some guys, for whatever reason, have this thing about, I don't want to say that, I want to use the old school term of putting notches on their belt, but they look at it as it's like a ranking system or a point system of, yeah, I'm at this joint. And number one, this is not how I sound. So this is just not even close to me. Right. But it's like, it's statements that I hear, mentions that I've noticed or observed a lot of guys with how they approach up is, yeah, I saw this girl, I saw her at so-and-so. She peeped me out, and I was trying to get with her, and she looked like she was right and she was ready. But the reality was she wasn't interested. Instead of taking that as she wasn't interested, it was, I want her type anyway. Okay, you want her type, but that doesn't mean you get like a major attitude and look at it as, well, man, that won't.
Do you necessarily have to turn into pout mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Because of
not getting what you asked for?
Right.
Maybe it's just me. I feel as though, and I know we're harping and emphasizing on that main topic of it, but if you walk into meeting someone or getting to know someone, you kind of know from the beginning where your mindset is as to what you're looking for. Now, whether that's communicated to the other person or whether that's made obvious in the beginning, that's all in that what you call the gray area. But the gray area sometimes exposes itself. A lot of times it never even hits that point because y'all might not even go down that road to begin with. So this will be a random. I'm leaving this story, but I'm blending another story to blend in with this. And when I start on it, you'll laugh because you'll know exactly where I'm about to go with it. Let's say a guy tries to talk to a girl. And he talks to her and he like, hey girl, what's good? I'm trying to get at you, I'm trying to spit game at you since X, Y, and Z. And you make that approach and she's like, yeah, I really would, but I'm not interested. And then Mia comes in. But then he found out, he made an attempt, as in Family Feud terms, he got the strike. So then he sees another girl. So instead of coming with a new presentation or being a little bit more creative and like evaluating or assessing what happened, he comes at her at female number 2 with the same approach. So the term we came up with and the term that kind of discussed and was brought about is the PowerPoint presentation. If anybody, this is going to probably be like Tech Talk 101. So if you ain't really a big computer person, a big PowerPoint person, hey, I ain't mad. But this, you might understand this a little bit and then it'll kind of blend, put it all in perspective, even with tying into the friend zone situation. If you do certain designs or certain styles of PowerPoint, you're normally, as far as I've remembered, most people keep the same layout and the same approach on each page of a specific PowerPoint. They may change a few things here and there, but they're mainly just kind of doing their little design and their creativity and going into their wild and free flow. the pizzazz and the attention grabber for most cases is, and this will probably be super nerdy, but it'll make sense in the end, is when you throw the word art in there, or if you put how the words kind of splash and fly from different angles to get his or her, to get people's attention that's watching and keeping up with the story. Giving that, addressing that, saying that, and giving the PowerPoint kick. Adding it to the friend zone piece. If one person meets person one, this is, and we're doing it as an open discussion, male, female, male, whatever, female. Yeah, I gotta remember how to do that.
I mean,
didn't realize. Lesson learned. So person one meets person A meets person one. He or she makes this presentation to person one. Person one's not interested. Does person A reevaluate what they did? Like, how likely do you feel like does person A reevaluate what they did when coming across person two? Or do they just say, you know what, I'm gonna just do the exact same thing and hope that it works?
I think what happens, especially with these guys that claim the friend zone, is they literally just keep repeating the same PowerPoint presentation rather than, okay, this PowerPoint presentation, or their presentation on how to approach a female, we're going to call it the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
This PowerPoint did not work in this meeting with this executive.
Right.
I'm not going to go and take that PowerPoint and look at it and be like, okay, well, what went wrong? What did they not, what critique or feedback did they give? What didn't work? No, I'm going to take that same PowerPoint presentation and give it at meeting 2 with the executive 2.
Right.
And it doesn't work. So I'm not going to blame this on me. I'm going to blame this on executive 1, executive 2, and however other many, meetings and executives I go through that don't accept this PowerPoint. These friend zone guys do the same thing, kind of. I am going to, quote unquote, spit game.
Yeah.
It doesn't work with this female. Or I'm going to get friendly with this female so I can try to turn it into a relationship.
Right.
That doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So, now I'm friend zoned. So I'm going to move on to another female with ulterior motives, because I do not see females as someone that I can respect enough to have a friendship with. All females are for relationship and sexual purposes only. So I'm not looking for friendship regardless. So now I'm going to approach female B.
Okay.
Same way. She's not interested. Oh, nice guys finish last. Oh, I'm in the friend zone again. This is why I'm not nice to bitches, because they don't want a good man. They want a da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Not looking at the fact that, for one, you're coming into it with an ulterior motive. 2, you're not making your motives clear from the beginning. If you let them know what you're looking for to start with, you can't end up in the friend zone unless you allow yourself to be, put in this zone. For the simple fact, if you come into it with, I'm looking for something more than friendship, I'm looking to progress to a relationship, yada, 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 and they decide to continue on, okay, now you know that they sort of have that same idea too. Yeah,
you kind of can put the pieces together, and
then we can work towards something. But if they tell you, well, I'm not looking for that right now, I'm not, or I have someone that I'm interested in, I'm just looking to make friends and get to meet new people and blah, 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 and you still decide to pursue this, that's your fault.
Right.
That, that's your fault.
So in other words, that's the accountability. It's the accountability. And then it's the accountability, it's the communication or miscommunication, and it's not reading or seeing the signs. Like, I'm making sure I'm giving, and y'all kind of see this is why these is one of those. I'm gonna give it and I'm gonna talk on it a little bit, but it's kind of giving some knowledge to. I'm not even gonna say just men. I think this is knowledge that needs to be given to people, because in most cases there are, and I think this is probably where my devil's advocate would play. In most cases, there are some females that will give that will sit there. Now, going back to the PowerPoint, there are some females that will sit there and say, I really liked your PowerPoint presentation, but they really don't want to say deep down, yeah, I saw that PowerPoint from so-and-so like a couple of days ago, but I'm going to go ahead and rock with you just to hang out and talk to you. But then when I know that it's getting to that point, ta-da, wasn't interested, didn't want it.
Yes, there are...
It's exceptions. And I'm not...
That is...
I think that's... I'm not going to say that's me on the devil's advocate. I think that's just my
that
spin off.
actually does happen. There are some girls that know that this person is pursuing them and know that this person has feelings for them and knows that this person wants more, and that's why that person always gives them 100%, and they like that 100% that they get from the person. Mm-hmm. They just don't like the person.
Right.
And rather than be woman enough to say, I don't feel for you that way and I don't think I will.
I'm not feeling you.
You know, I'm just going to continue to let you play along because I enjoy the attention that you give me.
Right.
I don't actually want you. I just want the attention from you.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, that does happen. That absolutely does happen. And then the thing is once you figure that out as a man, man the fuck up and walk away.
Walk away slowly and run.
Like, why would you even sit there in that situation if she's already playing you like that? Getting into a relationship with her is not going to make it better. Because she already starting out on the wrong foot.
Right.
So why would you want to get into a relationship with that in the first place?
The answer to that as a guy, not me personally, again, not me personally, but I think most guys, the reason they do that is because they look at it as it's coming back to the I'm going to see what I can get or see what I can go for or see what the end result could be. I'm hoping the end result becomes, and it's various avenues that people go when it comes to those relationships or connections. Is this going to be a long-time friendship? Is this going to be a long-term commitment? Is this going to be someone that I could possibly be engaged to? Is this somebody that I actually might marry? I know marriage is like the longest reach of all,
right?
But there are some people that sit and they talk to somebody and in a couple of days, I could wife her.
Exactly. Like they're legitimately already thinking of marriage and kids and all. And it's like, so you just met her like a week ago. Bring it back a notch.
And what's her favorite drink?
Right. Bring it back.
What does she like to eat if y'all go to Applebee's? Like, look.
You know, like what's her last name? Do you know her actual last name?
Learn her last. Yeah, do you know the address without Waze or without mapping?
Exactly.
Have you met have you met
anybody?
Met anybody and
but you're already planning life together. And I think something like that, you know. But I feel like people sit there and you either have the people that are quote unquote put in the friend zone. Mm-hmm. And don't know how to get out, and they're always in the friend zone, and they're always in the friend zone because they keep jumping into these situations where they have, you know, they're going into the I want a relationship.
Right.
That's all I want. I don't want friendships. I want a relationship.
I've already got my plans.
Exactly.
And if my plans don't work,
discuss my plans with you.
Yeah.
At all.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you anything.
No.
I'm just going to do this and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And then when you don't like what I like or do what I want you to do, well, you're a bitch.
That's what I was about to say. Okay, good. I'm glad you said that. So this will be the random closing, but it's going to be a fun closing because this is something that I always have never understood with men and women. And this is open-ended, so it's even guys doing it too. When you get to that road, or to you get to that, I guess, the end of that road, and it's like, all right, there's no more driving, there's no more road to go forward on, and it's like, all right, we need to either walk our separate ways or accept this for what it is.
Exactly. Like, are we gonna walk it out, or are we gonna, you know, what we doing?
Why everybody throw aggressive shots at the end?
You know, I mean,
you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, for whatever reason, okay, we're gonna kind of jump forward a slight bit. Let's say you got somebody, you met somebody, y'all deal with each other, y'all had sex, it was an intimate phase, you've hung out with each other, spent time with each other, done a lot of things together, and then when it comes to that, we're not together. Well, I mean, you won't know good anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
right there is just the most ridiculous thing. It's like, you know what? well, you look stupid now for staying in the relationship. Then
Yeah.
if they were all of this.
If there were all these bad things
and horrible, like.
I guess I'm saying it like that is because if you're sitting here telling someone that they were bad, like this is the worst example, but it ties into it because I've seen people do this and I've had experiences of it being done where after you end up not being with that person, y'all could have been having sex on a consistent rotational basis, but then all of a sudden after after that connection breaks. Well, I mean, you weren't no good anyway. You couldn't. I mean,
you ain't do this. You couldn't do that.
You couldn't.
Blah blah blah. And it's like, really, because we was chilling,
spending a lot of time doing a lot of things at one point.
We was chilling.
Like you had me coming over every day, like it was like rotation. Now,
but now all of a sudden I'm the worst person ever. Okay,
and that's fine.
But those are it's childishness and ridiculousness and things like that, and that's like the frustrating part is people that do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They went da 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 da. Those same people are probably the people that feel like they've been thrown in the friend zone.
Yeah,
those people believe in friend zones and this.
Well, I mean, they never wanted me anyway, so they just
blah blah blah. Oh, you're just a stuck up bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the stuck up. That's the thing. The
stuck
up what is with it?
The stuck up bitch.
With the stuck up bitch is when it's like I'm really mad at you, but I really don't want to tell you how mad I am at you.
You're a stuck up bitch, and it's like
how did she become stuck up when you was like you sitting down there? And the bad part, I think, and I'm gonna close with this, and this will probably be the wildest way of looking at it. If you really want to piss someone off, blocking their number is one thing, but having their number not be blocked on your phone and receiving texts from them, and this will probably go way left. Like even, we'll break it down on two aspects. Let's say both of y'all have iPhones or both of y'all use Facebook Messenger. Having that person send messages and you just seeing it as read, and that the person who's sending them is just like seeing that your messages are being read and you're not responding to not one message.
That right there is how you piss somebody off.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's like the true definition of passivity.
Red. Like that's how you do it.
That's the true. I'm on a new level. Like I'm just gonna throw you off the end of the road and say, all right, well, I mean, that's how you feel. I'm not gonna respond, because when you don't give anyone that response, it's almost as though they got the last word, but they didn't get the last word the way they wanted it, because then it turns into I'm mad with you. Why you do this to me? You a piece of shit. You don't mean nothing to me. But I really wish I could see you. I really need to talk to you. I miss you. I really will always love you. Like, and it just turns, and you just like.
I mean, well, the thing is they sit there and
like you went through
what they like is I want to have the last word, but because you won't respond to me, I can't have the last word.
It's like I'm giving the last word with an asterisk, because it's like.
Well, I mean, not even with the
it ain't the word.
Like,
it's
you can't get the last word if I've already walked out the house. If I left the house, left the situation, I'm gone. How can you get the last word?
Yeah,
I'm legitimately gone. You stand in that house and yell and scream and all you want to. I can't hear.
Yeah, because I moved on.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
So that it's just I think it comes down a lot to maturity.
That's true. All right, so we're at our. I don't want to say this, and this ain't like we closing like on a random hit, but and this is one of the few times, because normally I don't do reviews and overviews. I just kind of say, all right, this is in the show and we done. To finalize and to confirm, there is no such thing as a friend zone.
Period. Stop it.
If you made or created that friend zone,
if you think you're in the friend zone, you're an idiot.
Yeah, because I mean, it's almost like
probably need to step back and reevaluate.
It's like a fake. I mean, so it would be like a house. So the friend zone is almost like you defining it as a house that ain't really a house that was ever there. Yeah,
it's, you calling it a mansion, but it's actually a single wide trailer.
Yeah,
like, no, that's where you are. Going back in your little trailer. It's not a mansion. Go back in your trailer.
And so no friend zones exist. As far as the PowerPoint, or as far as your presentations, it never hurts if you feel like doing the similar tasks is your thing, but in most cases, it's better for you to be a little creative and do something different from time to time, because that could spark some attention. And finally, if things end, let them end. Don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there can be those moments where you might be mad and you might want to express yourself in some form or fashion, but don't express yourself to the point where you not only do you sound bitter. What's our term? Bitter bitch syndrome.
Bitter bitch syndrome.
Or angry male syndrome. One of the two, because men don't get off easy with that one either. Just if you have that anger, you have something that you need to talk about. If anything, two things. First, meet them somewhere public. If you need to sit and get like that, hey, I need to talk to you and get everything off my chest. Have it be public.
That closure that people think.
That if you want to call it the last page of the chapter, that's fair. That's number one. And number two, if you do the last page, make sure you don't go into it with the Love and Hip Hop or the Basketball Wives mindset where I'm going to throw a drink.
I'm going to throw a drink and now we're going to fight, but security is going to come in. So we're actually not going to hit each other, but we're going to scream at each other and get dragged out of a restaurant.
Right.
You know, that type of, where you're just like, so nothing actually happened. Y'all made a whole lot of noise.
Yeah. And
for nothing. Okay.
And if anything, I mean, just know that moving forward is not the worst thing. You can always like, as long as you walk away, if you walk away from something learning something, then you've accomplished something.
Then you didn't lose. If you know, and that's the thing is, if you love, you've loved and you've lost, but you've learned from what you lost, you didn't really lose.
Right.
You grow from that.
Yeah.
And I think people that get stuck in the friend zone never grow because they never
took the time to learn. They
never learn anything, and they just keep ending up back in the friend zone. And it's like, now why are we here?
Yeah.
Because you're doing the exact same thing you did last time.
Yeah.
That same PowerPoint presentation with the word art coming across.
Yeah.
And the sound effects.
Yep.
And the transitions between the
sparkles and glitters and randoms. Yeah.
For your, big presentation, and you're still trying to figure out why things are the way they are. It's because you're making that way. Yeah. Like, you cannot blame, if you're in the friend zone, you cannot blame that on anyone but you.
Yep.
It's
that's true.
all you.
It's all you.
Period.
All on you. So those are the topics. Like I said, I know it was kind of like we initially had one, but I was like,
I think we started out with one topic. We ended up with like 4 because that's kind of what.
But they all tied together though.
Happens with us.
They all tied together, so it wasn't like oh, we're just gonna throw some random info, because I know we had this one. It's another one. It's another topic we have. We always make sure we get our plan and prep, because usually we'll get into a conversation and it can go one direction and then it can fly back and it might swim back around. But I feel like everyone does understand, or hopefully has a better understanding of the non-existent friend zone. So before I press the stop, did you have any closing remarks for the listeners?
That I hope you enjoyed this first twin talk with, Pass and Barely Sane Nurse, and just know that there will be more of these. They will be just as ridiculous. And they will also jump all over the place. Except they probably will have far more background noise, because at some point you'll hear the dryer again.
Or you might hear a random tapping at the table again.
Or the cat. Or, just understand that is a part of Twin Talk.
Yeah, Twin Talk can go in.
It helps you feel like you're here.
It really does, because most times I have a hunch in a couple of episodes I'm gonna probably get randomly aggro uncomfortable and start throwing some music that I am allowed to play. I'm not gonna do anything to get copyright strikes and all that. So
that, and there'll probably be alcohol involved. Right now, there's no alcohol in this particular podcast.
That's the factor of this one,
which is why we seem to be coherent-ish. But just know, we thrive off $2 bottles of wine.
For the one time.
So, One of the next podcasts, and I think we've already been looking at topics for the podcast. Twitch, if you have any suggestions,
by all means,
drop them.
Yes, pastpodcastbt@gmail.com. We making it happen. Yeah. And trust me, it's going to be...
Or hell, barelysayingnurse@gmail.com.
Yes.
Send them to me.
Send them to her.
Like, I'll be able to get them to him.
Yeah.
We still going to act up. Or, because... Man. One of these days, we're going to vlog so y'all can see the shit that goes on as we're podcasting.
Yeah.
So you can understand why we randomly burst out laughing.
Once the camera and the stand gets set up, it'll definitely be a problem. But yeah, so to just briefly add to what Chanel said, and this will be a really, 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 really brief closing. If you're not
saying the closing for the last 10
we have been closing since 1992 for the 99 and the 2000.
Yes.
So honestly, so if you, as she mentioned, barely saying nurse, you want to go. Literally, she's made it big. I'm taking notes.
I've not made it big.
Search.
I have my own little website.
Search for barely saying nurse. She's the first thing on Google.
I'm the only one. Okay, this is mine, bitch. That's mine. But it's a nursing oriented blog. But
yeah.
If you're not into the nursing stuff, then Unique Moi at WordPress. No, uniquemoi.wordpress.
Yeah, uniquemoi04.wordpress.com. I got you.
And because I'm glad somebody knows what's going on. Yeah. I don't. But that's the one that blog is called In So Many Words, and that's much more random life. It's almost like the and stuff of the
past
the past. Mm-hmm. That's what In So Many Words is.
Yes. Weekly posts every Friday,
and I actually do post weekly. I legitimately post weekly at 6-ish because
6 p.m.
WordPress be playing and it's scheduled for 6, but it posted whenever the hell it wants.
But the internet be
right. So it's anywhere between 6 and 6:30. Thanks to WordPress. That's not my fault.
#WordPress has helped out my page, pastpodcast.com. I'm going to leave y'all there. Go back and do this edited listening. Y'all will probably hear this on Thursday while I'm working with family. I'll be doing a few things with that. But as always, Twin, thanks for helping out. Thanks for co-hosting.
No
problem. And we got more in store. That's all I can tell you. As I mentioned, you could definitely want to tune in on the podcast this weekend. I got some fun topics to talk about.
Shenanigans.
Marijuana.
You know what? And see.
Bye.